All right, good morning, goddammit. Piss and Vinegar day 198. Accessories, traps, traps, calves, and neck. Oh, I don't like training my neck every time I think about it. Anyway, let's get into some traps. Happy Easter Sunday. Yeah. Oh, not a bad exercise. It works. All right, I'm gonna do 2 sets just because, again, not the most ideal movement. I think I'll do 2 sets, and the next set I'm gonna do like a shit ton of drop sets because traps just take so much stimulus to grow, especially for me because they're not genetically inclined. Blasphemous, I know, but when shit's not working, you gotta try new things. I mean, granted, training traps so far has worked okay, but it's not as working as good as other things have worked. And that could be genetics, or it could be that I need to unlock some key. In this case, maybe I need more stimulus because the traps are very weight bearing. So yeah, I think he was, except for that dude. It's too light. I don't know. It's hard to drop set that long because it's already hard to go to failure. So I'm not going to drop set it. I'm just going to do 2 straight sets to as close to failure as I can. traps are a weird one to take to failure because you feel like you do a rep and you fail, and then the next rep you can like easily rep it. I don't know how to explain it. It's just they function weirdly. All right, that's traps. I went to church today, and there was a dude there who's not normally there. He's like a genuine pastor. Because my church is very lax, it's very chill. It's not like a conventional church, which is kind of why I like it, because I am very skeptical, and I don't like a lot of the human aspects of religion, just to put it like mildly. But I do like the idea of Christianity in many aspects, but I'm also incredibly skeptical. And if that offends anybody, I apologize, but that's just how I see it. And I get less skeptical as time goes by. But there's a guy there. He's the son of one of the guys that goes to church who I actually really like. He's an older bloke. I used to train him. He's just like a very interesting cat, has what I call a graceful charisma. He's just one of these Christians where he's just so good with God or our maker or whatever you want to call it, that there's just nothing fake about him. He's just very graceful. But his son's really cool, really intelligent, and I resonated with his son because his son was talking about the yeah-nahs of, this is how he explained it, the yeah-nahs of Christianity, where you read the Bible and you're like, yeah, nah. Like that's how Australians, we interpret things. We'll say, like something will be like, someone will say something and you'll just say, yeah, which is kind of like acknowledging it as like, I get it, or I get why you feel that way, or I get this piece of the Bible, but nah. I don't know. If you're not Australian, you might be like, how can you say yes and no at the same time? That's so weird. Well, we can. We say yeah, nah. Anyway, he was saying there's a lot of yeah, nahs in the Bible, and he had a hard time with Christianity for years because of yeah, nahs. And especially the biggest one of them all being, Jesus died, undeniably died, and then came back 3 days later, which is a big fuck off, yeah, nah. Like, let alone parting the sea, Moses parting the sea, or, the ark, or all these different individuals living for hundreds of years. This one's the biggest yeah, nah. And for me, it's a big yeah, nah too. There are other things that in the Bible that feel like a bigger yeah, nah, but it's a pretty big yeah, nah in regards to the only person that's ever undeniably come back from death. Like, people have died on operating tables and come back. No one's been hung up on a cross for days and stabbed in the stomach and like left there to just die, like blatantly die, where there's no medical intervention, and then come back days later. No one's done that. So it's a very skeptical one, including for myself. But the way he looked at it was, one, there is actually quite an overwhelming amount of historical evidence of, Jesus existing, but then a lot of historical people who firsthand witnessed it and for 40 years were tortured and lived horrible existences and never gave up the lie that it wasn't true. Everyone that ever saw him, come back, die and come back, were adamant that he didn't, that it wasn't a lie. And then there's been so many people to this day who have just seen Jesus, whether it be people in the 21st century who have visions or hallucinations, or the 500 people, or the 12 even that saw him thousands of years ago. So, I don't know, there is quite a bit of evidence, and that's something I never really thought about for a long time, because I thought it was all just hearsay and an all purely faith. But it's faith based in some amount of logic and some amount of evidence, even if the history of it is misconstrued, perhaps, like maybe it's all symbolic or whatever. But that was just an interesting thing. So happy Easter. And if you don't know, Easter is the signifier of Jesus dying and coming back. I didn't know that for a long time, because there's sort of an attack on this thing. Anyway, calf raises. if you're a Christian, you probably hate what I just said, and if you're an atheist, you probably hate what I said, so be it. Fuck. I'm gonna do a rest pause. Reps for Jesus today. Shout out to Jesus. Not that far in the Bible. I've only read maybe, oh shit, I don't even remember up to. I don't know I think I'm still in definitely in the Old Testament, but I'm up to, I think Jacob. Yeah, I'm up to Jacob. And so I haven't read anything specifically read about Jesus. I've seen a lot of content about Jesus, whether it be in movies or in The Simpsons or whatever, but there's something about Jesus that resonates heavily with me. So far, God's been a bit too much of a dictator and a bit too like hardcore and contradictory and stuff. But Jesus, just from a non-religious worship level, just seems like a guy where it's like, that's a cool ass dude right there. I had a lot of cool things to say. Just like from an energy perspective, I don't know, there's just something that draws me to that idea of that dude. Yeah, don't know how to explain it. So I'm very curious to see when I get up to his part of the Bible, what he's all about and what it was all about, the New Testament. Oh, shit. All right, do some drop sets. Oh, I never put that weight there. All right, fuck it. Shit. All right, one more drop set. I don't think my calves need much more than a couple of drop sets and rest pauses and shit. They feel pretty cooked. And they've been making great growth just from what I've been, this little bit of addition of having this new hack squat, which is incredible for hitting calves, and then just doing more rest pauses and drop sets. Oh, that's gonna cramp if I keep going, fuck. That's my calves done for sure. Whew. Oh man, I don't know what's wrong with my phone. The auto exposure works before I turn it on, and then as soon as I turn it on, it just goes back to black, or really fucking dark. So hopefully you can still see my ugly face, but yeah, I don't know sure what's going on there. This new phone. You know, dog backwards is God. There's definitely something to that. I don't know what the origins of that is, but these creatures are about as holy as they get, I say. As stinky and feral and disobedient and silly as this little man can be, it's about as light a creature I reckon I've ever met. So, since it's Easter Sunday, let's make it all religious, eh? I'm gonna rest. Problem is, I like just doing one set with a bunch of like rest pauses and drop sets, but there's not much I can drop. Like I do the body, sorry, I do the weight on my head, then my body weight, and then I'm done. Like what I cut my ears off to reduce the weight. Like I'd rather just do 2 sets of neck curls in order to get that extra stimulus that I can't get from drop sets and rest pauses and shit. Yeah, dogs are God. It's funny, I've always seen God as something that exists, but just like I don't know what in context, like what exactly it is. Is it The Simpsons' way of looking at it, like the dude in robes in the sky with a big beard or whatever, or is it and you go up there in the clouds and see your loved ones afterwards, or is it something far more esoteric and whatever, or you know, is this God thing all a facade? Is it like, you know, is it actually an evil being? Like I go through all kinds of ways of thinking about this. But I know that a God or a creator is real. I mean, it just doesn't make sense for there not to be something that created. If you look at every other aspect of reality, something created something. That has to then follow that there's a totally omniscient thing that created all. And then you get into really esoteric arguments like, well, who created him? And I think there's some things where it's out of our grasp to understand how something could just be omniscient and nothing beyond it. But yeah, I do think I believe in something for sure. And I see that thing. I think a lot of Christians, they see God as the All-Father. And I don't know, I never saw it as a father thing. I always saw God, I still do see it as like a friend. Like people will talk to God like they're so beneath him, and he's you know, like almost like you cower beneath him. Oh Lord, or you know, my gracious Lord, like this sort of thing. Never really resonated with me. Maybe because I don't like authority. I don't like following orders. I don't like following the herd sort of thing. And that's not necessarily like me being cool or better. It's just like, this is how I am. So when I think about God or talk to God or whatever, I think about like talking to an incredibly powerful friend, like a friend with just way more power than me, but still a friend. I don't know, maybe it's like more of a Nietzschean way of looking at it, where it's like being your own. The problem is if you don't allow God to be something above you in some way, then you become your own God, and then you become like a weird nihilistic Nietzschean type, which is not a good way to go down. You become very confused, and this is where gray areas come. I like black and white, but at the same time, I don't like the idea of like worship. I like the idea of like it's like a friend that exists out there in a different sort of way that you can't really comprehend. I don't know. I'd have to get back to you guys on that one. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out. Obviously, everyone is. But that's how I see God. And since we're talking about Easter Sunday, I just thought this would be the topic today. Is God and Christianity and everything in between. A dog. Oh, mate. All right, come on, get off. Whoa, fuck. Oh, my headphones never make it. They always fall off on neck extensions. On neck curls. Oh, fuck. Fuck it, I'll drop set this one. I hate this exercise so much, man. Switch sides. Well, I've still got this on. I always forget to take this off. I'll go inside and like spend 3 hours in my house and like I still got straps on. Fucking strapping up my fork so that I don't have to overly engage my forearms when I eat my food. Yeah, I'd say that, you know, emphasizing the acknowledgement of God has helped my life tremendously in so many ways. I came to God through the strive for self-improvement. Self-improvement starts off very selfish, and it's harder to adhere to when there isn't like a higher power above you, because you become that Nietzschean type where you're striving to become the Übermensch. You're striving to become your own good God or this like flawless, perfected character, which is impossible. And then you get jaded and you're like, I fucking hate self-improvement because I can't be perfect. Better off understanding that a higher power and using that as motivation to become self-improved and try to be what your creator intended for you. That's kind of how I came to God, was through self-improvement and like masculinity. I think also a big part of being masculine is being humble enough to understand that there's something above you and there's a creator and there's like a all father or whatever. I don't know, I have a hard time with that one still, but I also got lucky. I found a cool church that is very open-minded, not too open-minded, mind you. They don't have like a fucking LGBT flag hanging from the ceiling, and the pastor isn't like a trans man or some weird shit. Like, it's pretty chill, but it's not weird. It's not like some bastardization of the church or like some like, I don't know, Bolsheviks invasion of a church. It's like a nice, easygoing church that questions and, you know, is open-minded, I suppose. And that's been a big plus too. I think it's good to find a good church because man-made religion men in religion can really fuck it up for people big time. So that was another good thing, was my church is really cool. Again, I'm still massively skeptical, but I do believe God to be real. Mate, what are you doing? Oh, it's the drop set weight. Oh no, fuck, I gotta still do my neck extensions. I can't remember who it was, but someone said, you know, Christians either are being fooled on the biggest level imaginable, or they follow the most important event in history, which is a man coming back from the dead. And there's no moderate, there's nothing moderate about Christianity. It's, you're either being so brutally fooled, or you are right, and it's, you know, fuck, like, good thing you believed in that thing, right? But the thing is, let's say you're being fooled and there is no God. Isn't it better to go your whole life believing in him, and then when you die, it doesn't matter anyway, because you're just fucking, it's just darkness, and you're that's it, it's over, rather than the whole time awaiting that with fear, because that is what happens. But once that happens, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But what matters is the fear building up to that non-existence. Non-existence is terrifying. Until it happens, then it doesn't matter. Which should be reason enough to not to fear it, but that's very difficult. It's a conundrum, because unless you have ego death, you will fear that. But if you don't fear it because you don't believe in it, because you believe there is an existence afterwards, and then there isn't, so be it. It's all good. The time before ego, before death, you believe that there wasn't, you understand what I'm saying? Like, if you believe that you have something after life and there's nothing, then you win-win. Because, and then if there is something after death, then awesome. You're all right. But it's, in summary, ignorance is bliss. And you get no benefit to knowing there's no benefit to knowing that there's nothing afterwards. Wow, that's fucking heavy today. I think my neck's still tired from the Pantera concert. Anyway, that's enough of that. See you guys for more pissing. Peace out, bye.